Welcome everyone to another great webinar provided to you from the Women's Business Center at JEDI. This is Joy Taylor. I'm so grateful you're all here for International Women's Business Day. And we thought, why not celebrate today with a free webinar and a recording to really focus in on how women lead and why we want more female leaders. So we welcome you, and I know we have a lot of people from all the counties we serve, from Siskiyou, Shasta, Humboldt, and Trinity. Thanks for being with us today. And I just encourage you to enjoy the webinar, take notes. We do not have audio options today besides myself and my guest speaker, but if you do have questions or comments, go ahead and type them into the question bar, and that's on your GoToWebinar control panel. By the way, you can minimize the panel with the little orange arrow. So this webinar is brought to you by the Women's Business Center at JEDI. We like to say we are where potential becomes prosperity. And we have a lot of services. We love to work with people who are thinking about starting a business, have a business, and want to grow and scale their business. And we do that in a myriad of ways. We have training classes, workshops, private business financial consultation, a library of resources. We do free tax preparation, business planning, and we can help you fill out your loan application and assist you in accessing capital. I am the director of the Women's Business Center. I love, in fact, it's really my passion to help people birth businesses, to take their ideas for expansion, or if you're in the beginning stages, and really bring your dreams to reality. And I'm especially excited and passionate about working with women, so it's really my pleasure to walk into this new role as the director of the Women's Business Center, and really enjoying meeting so many of you, and encourage, if this is the first time you've heard my voice, please contact me. Let me know how I can help you. Okay, today's webinar, How Women Lead, Celebrating International Women's Day. I just want to start by saying I'm really thrilled to see how much media we're getting today already this morning. There's been a lot of social media, there's been a lot of press on really celebrating and looking at how women show up in this world. And we thought, because we're in the business of helping women in business, would talk specifically about leadership and small business development as it pertains to women. So specifically, we'll learn leadership skills and mindsets, and I'm going to focus on some of the local leaders in our community. Had a lot of fun interviewing people. And we'll be exposed to surprising stats and stories that point to the rise of women starting business. And to do that, I have Nancy Swift, who is the Executive Director of Jefferson Economic Development. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Joy, and hi, everyone. We're really pleased to have Joy on our team now in this new role. So let us, my job is to support her, to support you, and to grow our businesses and our JEDI community. So we're excited to be talking about this with you today on International Women's Day.
Yay, Nancy! What a fun team we have here, and hopefully we can not only just share some great things, but just model how much fun women have in business. So what else will we cover today? How to use your intuition. So important. We all have intuition, but how can we use our intuition as an asset at work and integrate our values into our goals? We'll also cover understanding why great business leadership relies on supporting and not competing. So hopefully by the end of the webinar, you walk away with a natural sense of self-worth and an authentic desire to serve. Because women are, right now, all over the globe, creating new ways of doing business. It is a new era, and women can bring innovation and their feminine power to be more effective and impactful. So we're finding, and you'll see in the slide presentation, how women are creating social enterprise, how women are bringing family values to the workplace. Let's start with a story. Erin McCleavey was getting 0 response on her resume after graduating from college. Now, Mac McCleavey, on the other hand, got a 70% response rate on applications. Well, of course, Mac and Erin were actually the same person, just with different names, one of which got her more success with employees, according to Fortune. So this is a study, and there have been many studies, but what tends to happen in these experiments and studies is that the applicants with male names get more responses than those with female names. So even today and right now, are women receiving leadership positions? Are they receiving jobs? Are they receiving access to capital? We have a lot of good news to share today, but the truth is still, and you'll see some startling statistics, women are achievers, but they're not always leaders. In fact, for every 100 men who get their bachelor's degree, 142 women do. For every man who gets his master's degree, 159 women do. But you go to Washington, you go to DC, to the top companies in the United States, and where are the women? On the leadership boards, in executive positions, on average, 18% are women. Now that's not a proportional stat to the graduation rates. 104 women hold seats in the United States Congress. That's comprising of less than 20% of the members. Go to education. Women are head of the class, but not necessarily the school. Women average 75% of teaching positions, but only 30% of leadership roles. In law, women were 46.7% of law school graduates, yet only 15% of equity partners and 5% of managing partners. But there are more and more studies coming out. In 2009, the groundbreaker study was looking at senior leadership. And when senior leadership included 30% women, there is a significant difference in policy, and performance goes up. Quote, companies with the highest representation of women on their top management teams experience better financial performance than companies with the lowest women's representation. So we're learning, we're seeing that women in leadership is good for business, and women in leadership is good for everyone. But how do women become leaders? How do each of us say yes more often to those positions of power? And how will young women assume their roles in leadership? Because I know, having gone to so many women's entrepreneurship networking events and leadership events, I think dear to many of our hearts is helping the women of today assume their roles. In fact, Susan Seaman, the program director of the Arcata Economic Development Corporation, she's mentoring 2 young women, Kayla and Kamalia, and they're becoming community leaders on their own. When I asked her about women in leadership, she said this: I think women understand the importance of work-life balance more than men. And I like this part, even if so many of us still struggle getting it right for ourselves, which is true. And I'm going to pause for a moment. We used to think that we had to have it all and do it all. And we found that that isn't really possible. It's hard to balance work, life, families. But women are the ones who are bringing this issue to life and bringing this issue to policy. Susan goes on to say, I also see that the upcoming workforce of all genders are putting a strong value on work, live, play when looking at their own future. So women with decades of what we've learned about this balancing act are poised to take the lead on this important workforce issue and turn it into policy and practices that support both business and employees. Very inspiring thought. I am looking forward to seeing that. I think that it is true that women, young women, and probably all youth are coming forth and saying, let's get it right. Work, live, play. So Kathy Mortar, the Mount Shasta mayor, her advice for young girls: pay attention to what makes you happy. Engage with it so you learn about it and yourself, and then say yes to the next opportunity that shows up. Keep doing it, and you will be leading with the confidence that comes from knowing your innate gifts. Thank you, Kathy. That's great advice for young girls and all of us, actually. I'll take that in, and you are a leader by example. Our Shasta County leaders, our Siskiyou County leaders, Trinity, Humboldt, we're really stepping up, not just in business, but in government. This is a picture that was taken a few years ago, but you'll see that the major mayors in Shasta County were all women. So we thank you, Missy, Summer, Melissa, and Lori, for your leadership, your mentorship, your example of really saying yes and holding these positions. So yeah, we are showing up. Women, girls, we're showing up on the front of magazines. Our issues are showing up. Don't hate her because she's successful. Our needs, our pains, our desires to change the future, to create gender equality, to really have influence and really step forth as a new example with innovation. We're showing up. We're showing up in great numbers. And as you'll see, while I've given examples of not showing up as much in leadership, we are showing up in economic development. But why do we want to show up? And why do we want more female leaders? Well, according to a lot of studies, women leaders deliver more in impact, reach, performance, even revenue. Businesses with women on their top boards outperform companies with all-male boards by 26%. Because as women, we bring additional qualities to business, to communities, and families. It's natural, and it's the way we do it. It's the way we lead. It's the way we build and grow. And what is it that we offer? Family values. We have a perspective about work-life balance, raising children, paternity leave, fraternity leave. We think about these things, and a creativity of the being in the moment and being flexible while we enjoy the masculine approach to strategy and structure, and it's needed in so many cases. You see women come in and be playful and artistic and creative and innovative in how we do our marketing, in how we hold meetings in circles, and how we share and how we negotiate. Our communication and listening skills are kind, compassionate, and patient. Listening skills is something we're finding women excel at, communicating nonviolently with compassion. Everyone has intuition. Women tend to trust their gut. And when we bring that to our leadership positions, we make fabulous decisions. So do trust your intuition. We bring our perspective as women, as moms, as sisters, as daughters. And women are, as studies are showing, more collaborative in their approach. Layla Roberts, enjoyed talking with you, Layla. She's the director of the North Coast Small Business Development Center. Her quote, "My favorite form of risk-taking is when women bring love, the verb, into our work. It takes discipline and courage to lead in business on a foundation of social justice values and promises. I want us all to create healthy cognitive dissonance for folks who are used to zero-sum, kill-or-be-killed way of doing business." So she says it's uncomfortable, even scary, but it's worth every moment. Love it. Love that you're bringing the word love to the webinar. Love that you are encouraging us to have the courage to really bring our values to work. Lisa Nixon, who is a Siskiyou County supervisor and an attorney at law, she says that generally women bring a desire for mutual respect over assertion of personal ego. I just want to pause. That's pretty profound. So for all of us, men or women, just imagine a world where we bring a desire for mutual respect over assertion of personal ego, and as well as a frontline approach of collaboration. Shelley Nilsson, chair of Eureka Chamber of Commerce. This is what women do. We learn how to play together so we get things done. And I think maybe some of you are chuckling because you know it to be true. We love to get together, create things. Are we more collaborative or are we more competitive? Well, according to the Glasshammer study, women do find collaboration to be a very effective trait at work. Here's some research from Women in Technology. The #1 trait women identified as critical for leadership was collaborative, which was also the #1 trait respondents selected to describe themselves. Women are also more inclined to choose a situation where their reward is based on the team's performance rather than their sole performance. So, are we collaborative or are we competitive? And which do you choose to be? As you're listening in, evaluate yourself. Do I bring these qualities? Have I held them back? Am I working from a team approach? Am I collaborative? Lisa Nixon also said that I think women in general take a more collaborative approach for a longer time in negotiations. And I like this. She says, which often leads to a more favorable outcome. So on the onset, really looking for the yes, everyone getting to yes, the win-win collaborations where it's all understood so we can work compatibly and collaboratively together. So yes, women like to have fun. Women like to get together and socialize. And it's interesting because some companies still discourage employees from forming friendships at work, but this is what we do. 2/3 of women value the social aspect of their jobs. They love to say hi in the break room. They love to laugh together while working. And guess what? There's stronger workplace relationships, and that enhances performance. What are our opportunities for growth? Some of these will not surprise you. I've already discussed it. We're great achievers. We get things done. We love those to-do lists. We make mid-management, but do we always step up into our power to lead? This is an opportunity for growth, if you so choose. Our self-esteem, to really feel a genuine self-worth, not an ego, but a clear understanding of your own worthiness and your skills and your talents, and step forth in them and feel comfortable with them. Look in the mirror and give yourself a smile and encouragement before you step into your career day. We can trust ourselves more. We can speak up more. We can be more willing to say things that might be right or wrong or accepted or not accepted, but we speak up. We trust our thoughts instead of being quiet and letting someone else at the table come up with the same idea we had 5 minutes ago. So trust yourself and be willing to say things. And if it's wrong or not accepted, we can learn how to not take those things so personally, because we'll have good ideas and we'll have not as good ideas. But speak up. Don't take it personal when you're wrong. We move on, and don't take things personal in general. This is an opportunity for growth for women. We don't have to please everyone all the time. And we definitely don't have to say, I'm sorry, or apologize for our existence as much as we do. And some of you might have seen the YouTube video on that. It was kind of viral a few years ago, but don't apologize for being you. Step up. What else? Feel comfortable in our power. I mean, don't you admire those women who are at ease and at comfort and just who they are? And when they're offered a leadership position, they're comfortable in it. It's not awkward. If this is something that feels a little challenging for you, I hope we can work with you here at the Women's Business Center. We're so dedicated, not just to your businesses, but to you as an individual and your leadership and your ability to feel comfortable in power. We cannot overgive so much, which means we learn to say no. There is so much power in the word no, because your ability to say no is directly related to your ability to succeed. It allows you to say yes to the things that matter most, focus on them, be concentrated, do very well at them. So this is something I've had to learn. And it really is not to overcommit. Some of the tricks that I use, I postpone my no's. If I'm not sure, I kind of want to say no, but I'm not ready, I'll say something like, let me check with my day calendar. Let me check with my assistant. Let me get back to you. I need to talk to my partner or talk to my team. You can postpone your no. And then when you're ready to say no, do the classic sandwich technique. Something positive at the beginning, like, thank you, I'm really honored you asked me. Then you offer your no politely and follow it up with a little encouragement, like, I'm really impressed with what your organization is doing. Simple as that. You'll know when to say yes, you'll know when to say no when you follow your intuition and your feelings, and they truly are an asset at work. That gut instinct. In fact, there's an incredible book called Intuition at Work, which documents how important it is to use that split-second understanding that comes from a non-logical place. It's still in the brain, but it's not thought out, it's felt. And when we follow our gut, follow our instincts, which we know we do in our family so often, when we do that at work, we do save time. We're more likely to be at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. We say yes to what's a yes and no to what's a no. So use your feelings, use your intuition as an asset at work, because they're naturally yours, all of ours. And then we bring our values into our projects and into our goals. I'm gonna pass the webinar over to Nancy for a little bit here to talk about this new definition of success and how women are really leading the way in economic growth in small businesses. So here is Nancy Swift.
Yes, thank you, Joy. And how many of you have ever noticed when you actually got real, had a real conversation with somebody, either in your business or even a customer, or you got real with yourself and some supporter of you, a mentor, that it just moved you fast to a much more successful place. I love those past two slides that talk so much about the work you really need to do to lead. It isn't to read the right book. It isn't to get the right position. It isn't to be sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's. It's that you do personal work, you dig deep, and then you move out and can be an inspiration and aligning your values and your passions and your expertise allows you to be successful. So this statement is one of my favorite. Maya Angelou is always one of my favorite. She has a nifty way of just saying it, and I've taken this to be a guiding theme for the work that we do at JEDI, and what we want to support for women on their path to business. Because if this is true, then you'll be leading, not doing in your business. And you'll see the statement incorporates a lot of those comments that were just made about success is liking yourself. Okay, now who puts that in the definition of success? Well, we do, and we know how critical that is. Liking what you do and liking how you do it. So if number one is happening or you're working on it, then, and number three is happening and you're working on it, then that's the work we need to do, and that's when you start to reap benefits. These are the kinds of authentic conversations and the personal work that we know advances leadership. So I thank you, Maya, for once again just saying it. We are, I know she moved the slide, but another point about definition of success, I mean, that's not a standard definition, but that certainly is a definition that a lot can resonate with. And so if we can move the target for success, then we can achieve it better and we can influence situations in new ways. So we're really excited to bring that to our work in assisting women entrepreneurs to grow. So this, of course, is maybe not a surprise to anybody. It's well documented. Women-owned businesses are the fastest growing segment in the U.S., having grown at 45% over the past 10 years compared to overall business growth of 9%. So that statistic does include corporations and large corporations. But at JEDI, the other thing we know and that we often talk about is that women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of the economy. And so we're in the right place supporting any of you entrepreneurs out there to start up and to grow and to create jobs for other people. I really enjoy this graphic. It has a lot of elements on it. I'm only going to talk about one piece of it, but I encourage you to look at it, maybe even go find it in its study, because there's a lot of background behind the ranking scores as to why certain things are. But 2 years ago, the USA was ranked #1 in business environment for women entrepreneurs. And that might not be a surprise, because we have a lot of freedoms, we have a lot of opportunity in this country, we have a lot of gender freedoms that allow women to really step into roles of business ownership. I was fascinated by some of the background there, because where are the gaps in making that a better experience for a woman, and for really celebrating and documenting and truly understanding what that impact is on the economy. So that's our work here at the Women's Business Center, is to do just that. If you look at the bottom of the graphic, the pipeline for female entrepreneurs, I find it interesting that more than half of the businesses are started by a woman, yet less than a quarter say they know another entrepreneur. So I think that's meaningful, because it means that women often are working in isolation. We know small business owners are, for sure. And so how do we hook people up? How do we get women to talk more to other entrepreneurs so that they can create mentorships or get new pieces of information to really successfully grow their businesses? We're very excited. The Office of Women's Business Ownership is the federal department that holds the women's business centers like the one at JEDI, and there are over 100 across the nation. And it's a department of the Small Business Administration. And we're putting it in this slide because it was formed out of legislation about 30 years ago that was really recognizing the importance of supporting, they use the word empower here, women entrepreneurs. It's a government recognition, and that brings resources and attention to it. So we're proud to, in part, be supported through this department. And the picture you see there, Linda McMahon, is the newly appointed Small Business Administration head. So, and she's been an entrepreneur herself. Joyce talked to her a little bit on one of our conference calls with the WBCs, and we're excited for her support and investment in the work you're doing and other entrepreneurs. One of the things that the SBA sponsors, and we've applied to host a local challenge for the Innovate Her 2017. So this is another way that the government is working to invest directly into women-owned businesses. So watch for this in the coming months. Anyone who's got a great business idea, has actually been in business, I think you have to have been in business a year, but has some kind of innovative product or strategy or service that's also serving women. We're going to hold a local challenge, and we're excited to see, we're excited to meet you all and see all these innovations that some of you might have.
So what's exciting about this too is there'll be $70,000 that will be given away at the national event that comes up later in the year. So yeah, make sure you're on the JEDI WBC mailing list. So if you are a female-owned business wanting to expand, would love you to take part in this. Oh, this was great. Nancy turned me on to the Dream Girl documentary, and the website's down below, but it's all about these ambitious women, and this is a really great example of social enterprise.
Yes, which is a growing trend, and in particular with women. So, and I look at this person, I wish I could pronounce her name better, but Nuri Fahana Rahman, um, as the face of the future of women's entrepreneurship. We know that women of color have significant barriers to growing their businesses still, in terms of access to capital, in terms of resources, and in terms of actual discrimination. And maybe that's also true in the workplace, so they're turning to entrepreneurship. And this series of films is made by a young person, and it's really fun to see how these young women are building companies. And she, in particular, if you go to Naughty Gal and watch this video, you'll see that she's building connections with her home country, and it's really creating opportunities on both sides of all the oceans that you cross to get to Bangladesh. And she's just a riot to listen to. So I always look for inspiration in the film world.
Yeah, and there was just an article that came out today about how women really are leading this term social enterprise, where we take our profits and we give them back to nonprofits, or we start foundations in nonprofits, or our businesses are based on real fundamental solutions. It's not about making money, it's really about giving back. And that's back to women bringing intuition and values to either their leadership in a corporation or your own idea. You know, I just want to say something else, Nancy. I think it's interesting how women are leading in this growth model of starting their own businesses. And I think in so many ways, because then we're the boss and we can create our own corporate policies. You know, we start out as solopreneurs and hopefully we scale to have employees, but you know, we can work from home when we need to, if we have children, or we're just a little bit more creative in our hours or the workplace environment. And it's really a fun thing to see that women are. It was 3 out of 5, right? Mm-hmm. Starting businesses. Mm-hmm. But what about accessing capital for women? That's a biggie.
Yeah, well, we are starting a third of all new businesses in this country that are creating jobs for other people. Yet, we're not able to access the capital to grow those businesses, and it gets more significant as the sales revenues increase in this country. This slide is recognizing that last year the SBA made 19% of its loans to women-owned businesses, and that was a celebration. I remember being at a conference where we said, yay, we went up 5 percentage points. This is the most ever of women who have received SBA-backed loans in the marketplace, yet it's still less than a quarter. So it's not on par at all. And there is another study that shows that while women are starting a third of the businesses, they're only getting 4% of the overall financing available. So there's really a problem there. And we're, as a women's business center, we're looking to all the reasons. So part of it is systemic, part of it is networks, part of it is language, understanding how to talk to somebody that you need to describe your business to. Other times it's thinking big enough, and other times it's just whether you think personally you deserve that loan. So we're trying to work on so many different levels to address this problem, and that's a unique feature of a women's business center, and we're always working with you or our clients to increase your confidence in understanding your true needs and understanding what's really going to make the business sustainable, and therefore being able to demonstrate that adequately in the face of looking for financing.
Oh, I love what you said about thinking big.
Yeah.
Because that is, once again, another one of those opportunities for growth. This is a wonderful organization.
It sure is, and it's about thinking small to be big. Maybe that's how we could say it. There's many forms of financing. We are looking to try to build relationships with many different forms of financing, depending on your needs, and maybe it's small, maybe it's big, maybe you can't get a loan from a bank, maybe you love the idea of having women and men across the world investing in your business. So we're talking about kiva.org today in particular because um, they are a crowdfunding platform where people from all over the world can invest in your business, even just $25. So the Be Bold for Change is in honor of International Women's Day. They have a challenge out there right now trying to increase the amount of loans going to women. Their goal is 3 million, and they have a matching source. So it's just another expression of building bridges between women around the world. Obviously, you can see that 54% of their loans in the U.S., although their platform lends worldwide, went to women. So they have they're an active market for women seeking support.
So I'm glad you mentioned it's an international platform with Kiva, and it was you. You knew the founder, didn't you? Or,
Oh yeah,
yeah. Nancy goes way back. For those of you who don't know, she's been a junkie of micro enterprise and helping women for 20 some years. So
oh yeah.
let's save that for another interview. You guys got to learn all about Nancy. But yeah, so we actually have some roots in our hearts in international and global support for women, not just today but every day. And I learned that when I was in Morocco, when I was in India. I think you've got some stories of your travels. Where was it?
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Ethiopia.
well, yeah, absolutely. You know, we kind of underestimate the privilege we have here in the U.S. And one of my favorite leadership books is Powering Up by Ann Doyle, and she speaks to that. She attended the International Women's Forum conference. And after that, she woke up. She really woke up and she traveled a lot more. She got much more involved in leadership in general. And she asked women around the world, what would you like to say to American women about leadership? And she summarized the responses into this statement. American women underestimate the ability and responsibility they have to help lift their global sisters throughout the world. So we do have reach. We really do have reach. I mean, we can just get online and we can fund women in other countries with a drop of a Google search and a credit card. But we also have an opportunity just, to speak up in our own local arenas and inspire others to do the same and really not take for granted the paving of the way that so many women here in the US have done for us. And it's our turn to give it forward. It's our turn to really help our sisters. So hope that you're inspired in this webinar to become a stronger leader, to grow your business, to have more self-esteem and confidence and think bigger in your business, because we're not just celebrating women today. It is International Women's Day, but really every day is Women's Day at the WBC at JEDI. It's our goal. It's our goal to help you to bring your amazing innate gifts and your passion and your values so that you're liking what you do and you're liking how you do it.
Absolutely.
And we can fill in some of the gaps because, yeah, not everyone knows how to run a business. I mean, gosh, who got an MBA? Not too many of the successful entrepreneurs out there did, but you have a gift. And a lot of our clients are people who come to us with ideas, with talents, with passions, and may have never heard of a cash flow projection, but that's why we're here. we can help you, and we love to do that. And my desire is that in the future, like Sheryl Sandberg says, that there will be no female leaders, there will just be leaders. Wouldn't that be a great day? And it might be the next wave. It really might be the next wave. It feels like Susan Seaman, who's very passionate about working with the youth, is already seeing that work, live, play is not gender specific, and that we're all wanting to come together and grow a better culture. And lead, women are leading the way.
Sure are right now.
We are. We're setting the standards. So the WBC at JEDI, that's us. And we can, like we've said throughout the webinar, really work with you with private consultations. We work in person, we work online, we have trainings. We are starting a women's leadership event, monthly meetings in Reading this spring. If you're not on our mailing list, please email us at info@e-jedi.org so you can be up to date on what's next, what we're offering. We do have these great webinars. They're free. They're Wednesdays at noon in general. And our next one is Mindfulness at Work, which is a nice value to bring to work. And that's with our dear friend and consultant, Kristen Stroud. Following that, in May, which social media channels are right for your business? And this is a good opportunity to say yes to some and no to others. Workshop series coming up in April, all about money, the psychology of money, your financial integrity, how to invest in your life and your finances, and then financial investing you can and should do. And we have a special guest, Kevin Charter, who will be attending that April 24th workshop. And then I'm really passionate and excited about being the instructor of It's Your Business, where you can start and grow your business through incredible planning procedures, understand everything from market research to foundational statements and branding and strategies and budgets and legal aspects, organization, time management. Believe it or not, we do it in 6 weeks. So obviously it's a big overview, and for those who are ambitious, you will in 6 weeks have an amazing business plan. And I like to call it a living business plan. So this will be something that'll help you as you grow your business.
And Joy, you clearly do have a passion for that class, and I want to reiterate for the listening audience that nothing at JEDI nothing at the Women's Business Center feels like your elementary school or your high school or even your college training. It's very hands-on, it's very practical, and one of the greatest things about a longer-term class like that for 6 weeks is who you're going to meet in that class. It's your next customer and it's your next mentor, and it's just really, really inspirational to be around people in the same place as you. So if you're listening from Reading and haven't already taken this class, please consider joining us.
Yeah, and if you don't mind driving an hour,
that's true.
You can come up or down.
Or 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah. Well, what's exciting about the future here at the WBC, we're doing these webinars, but we really look forward to doing more and more teleconferencing and online training. So if you are listening in from Humboldt, which is part of who we serve, please call us. We're here. We've got video cameras on our computers, so we're ready to meet you and work with you and help you refine your business. And we love those of you who choose to be members of JEDI, be a part of our JEDI community for various reasons.
Yeah, you can see a couple of the advantages that can offer you in terms of discounted services, a really beautiful coffee mug, which we really should have a picture of up there. And we do have a computer lab here in Mount Shasta if you want to use it, and obviously it's a charitable contribution or a tax business deduction. And that last bullet about feeling satisfaction that your investment is building a positive future, this membership also gives you entree into a club. So people who know JEDI, somebody once described it as the greatest organization that you can never describe, but they smile when they say it, and it's because everybody gets a little something different. It's a little bit like a diamond out of their experience with us, and we are intending, this is our 20th year of operations, so it's our 20th anniversary, and we're intending to build our membership and our JEDI community so that you all can be knowing each other better and working for and with each other So that's another thing to come in the next
Yeah, because women
year.
like to collaborate and
Sure do.
socialize at work, and so we want you to have another place to do that. All right, at the end of the webinar, there's a little survey. We appreciate you telling us what you liked about today and what you'd like to see in the future. And I'm going to open up for a little Q&A and see if anyone has any comments. So we have a couple thank yous. You're welcome. It's our pleasure. Someone is asking if the slides will be available. If you do want these slides, sure, just email online at e-jedi.org and we'll send you over the PDF slides. Yes, someone else asked about this being recorded. It'll be up on our YouTube channel, and all of you that are here live today or people who registered will get the link. So you're welcome to share this information. And gosh, I just hope more than anything you share the inspiration. And so think about what you got out of today. What are your opportunities for growth? Were you startled by those stats? Are you hopeful for the future? If you run into one of our local leaders that was quoted today, tell them you saw them here. And you know, I just want to say I also look forward to any of you who are leaders in the arena here in our territories in these counties that I haven't met. I'd love to meet you because we really want to continue to highlight our subject matter experts here through the Women's Business Center. One last question about what's covered in It's Your Business, and does it cover anything around taxes? We do have a section on preparing for your taxes, and if you right now have specific questions, you can always reach out to JEDI, to the Women's Business Center at 530-926-6670. We can help you. Yes, someone asked about tax IDs. Yep, that's something we can walk you through the process, and we'd love to do it. That's a real hands-on one. So give us a ring, become a client, and we'll get you hooked up. Nancy, anything you want to say to end the celebrating of women today?
Just thank you all for your interest and for all that you do in your communities, and for we're really blessed and honored to be in a position to be in support of women aspiring. So thank you, and look forward to working with you.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.